This was my first ever sales call, and I'm going to show you exactly how I won him over, even though I walked in and I pitched completely the wrong product. Now, everyone thinks you get nervous on a call because you don't know enough. You don't have the answers. You are not confident yet. That's not it. You get nervous because you don't have a plan. So what people tend to do is they tend to panic and try to fill out every single silence. The fix is never confidence. It is having a process, a set of steps to run on the call. So I'm going to give you 4 frameworks that murder this kind of call. 1. Listen, repeat, poke. Number 2. Prep and para frameworks to stop you rambling. Number 3. The exact questions that get a client to open up fully. Number 4. To put a dollar amount on their pain so the pain actually sells itself. And this was not a practice run. It is a real unscripted call with Brian Hardie, a consultant with 14,000 followers on LinkedIn. I pitched the wrong thing. I'm 15 and he still ended the call asking to see my next build. Let's get into it. So now we're gonna get into number 1 framework. This framework 1 is the one everything else is built on. Listen, repeat, poke. And these 3 moves. Number 1, you're gonna first actually listen. And I mean fully listen. Don't plan on what you're going to say next. Don't jump in to sound smart. Let them talk all the way through. Second, repeat. Say back what they just told you in their words, not yours. That does exactly 2 things. 1, it proves you heard them. Number 2, it makes sure what you understood is actually what they meant. And finally, poke. Ask one good question that digs into the problem that is described. Not 5, just 1 clear question. And that poke is so important that I'm going to give it its own section later in the video. The exact questions that unravel what's hurting a client. The deep psychology of getting them below the surface. So stick around because that's where it gets dangerously good.
It's like a Word document, but I try and avoid having attachments because attachments are a pain in the arse. And I avoid having links like your Google Slide Docs because whenever you have a link in, the risk is people just won't click it. Therefore, I don't do it. I just stick it in the email. And the magic is being able to ask intelligent questions during the conversation so that I can demonstrate some relevant commercial knowledge and experience and suggest, not detail, but suggest some solutions or methods to achieve a solution which fixes that pain point.
As you see in this clip, I followed poke. You can see all 3 moves, 4 seconds, I shut up and I let him land it. I said his exact words back. More qualified opportunities. Not my version, his. Then 1 simple question. It's not perfect, but now it does the job. And what it did, he stopped describing his process and handed me a real problem. That's the whole point of this framework. Listen, repeat, poke. And here's the psychology behind it. The reason why this works so well is simple. People don't feel heard in this world. When you repeat what they said back to them exactly, they tend to trust you before you ever do anything. And once they actually trust you, they will tell you the actual real problem deep in their business. Given Brian Hardie is a warm contact, so I got some leeway. But you could see how this would actually help another sales discovery call. Here's the catch. Listening is the easy part. The second they ask you a question, the nerves come back and you just tend to start rambling. that's exactly what these next two fixes cover. So, framework 2 is basically just two tiny frameworks, and they exist for one reason: to stop you rambling the moment it's your turn to speak. That's where the first time has fallen apart. You could see I was nervous, I rambled on. They get asked a single question and panic sets in, and they just keep talking. These frameworks give you a track to run on. So number one framework, prep. So the prep framework includes point, reason, explanation, point. You make your point, you give the reason back, then you back it with an example, then you land the point again.
Sends, like, does a Google form, writes down the client name and the client's website and LinkedIn. It analyzes all of that, puts it into a document, and then this is step 2. It has a little note taker, like what you have right now, like a Fathom note taker. The note taker listens to the discovery call, and from that discovery call, it will take all the pain points mentioned by the client. For example, the numbers. My salesperson is spending, let's say, 30 minutes analyzing the client, another 1 hour building a slideshow just to do a sales meeting. It would take that statistic, put it into the PowerPoint, and expand on the different pain points. That's how it works.
There's no point, no reason. What I did was I just stacked features on features. I did step 1, step 2, step 3. Moreover, I was pitching the wrong product and I made it worse by feature dumping. That's exactly what prep kills. And if I could repeat the sales call, this framework is what I would actually use. And the truth is, nobody buys a list of steps. They buy a point that you proved through your examples. Now, this is the second framework that tends to be dangerous. And this framework includes para, point, action, result, ask. This one's for when you're proving something works. And make your point, say what it does, show the result that's already happening, then give the next few steps. In fact, you can see that in the clip below.
This is a cold email scraper that leads with a personalized Loom video that's made through AI and that has your face on it.
Yeah.
Basically, what it does is it gets leads from Apollo, uses the exact characteristics of the leads. For example, I need leads who have this much extra money, who are in London, who target this type of person. Because obviously you do marketing for a niche, so you know what the problems in that niche are. So if you nail the niche, and if you nail the right type of business size and what kind of business, you already know what problems that they encounter. So that's basically what an engaged lead is. Since you know that problem, that type of lead is perfect for your solution. And then it's just a cold email, copyrighted 3-part email script with a personalized AI Loom video of your face on it, which currently works.
So that's good. I like that. I know what Loom is. I haven't used it myself. Perhaps we should. I think use of video to personalize approaches for cold outreach helps get a significant uptick in open and response rates. So that's good. I haven't used Loom yet.
Hello. Which is what I got right. You can see how he was excited. He agreed through point, then the action, then the result, and you saw the clip about. Through using that framework to a haphazard level, I got Brian leaning in, and he himself asked me to hear more instead of nodding politely. That's what this framework did that. And that's why it's so effective. So the rule of thumb is, use para anytime you're trying to prove something works, not features, but your personal outcomes through your solution. So we covered prep and para. And they make sure that your communication is clear. But here's the thing, nobody tells you. Clear isn't the same as closing. And that's where the deep psychology I was talking about before comes in. So, before I give you the next part, let me bring in someone that is way better at this than me. These concepts are from Jeremy Miner, who has done over 9 figures in sales. And the one thing that he says that completely changed my perspective on how I see a discovery call. And I think this is the exact quote. All selling is change. That's all it is. Whether they want something new or they're running from pain, it is change. The problem, humans don't like change, even when they say they do. So your job on a call isn't to talk to them into anything. It is to get them to feel their own pain, because that's the only thing strong enough to make someone want to change. And they will never show you that pain if you ask simple surface level questions. Surface questions, what they do is they trigger the exact sales resistance that you are trying to avoid. And let me quickly explain what sales resistance is. Sales resistance is to sound like a salesperson. And when you sound like every other salesperson out there who's trying to sell their own product, good or worse, it creates a negative impression. You have to get them below the surface. This is why, in fact, I'm going to show you a clip. And this clip, my client teaches me something. And that's what I'm going to reference in over here.
It's like a Word document, but I try and avoid having attachments because attachments are a pain in the arse. And I avoid having links like your Google Slide docs, because whenever you have a link in, the risk is people just won't click it. Therefore, I don't do it. I just stick it in the email. And the magic is being able to ask intelligent questions during the conversation, so that I can demonstrate some relevant commercial knowledge and experience, and suggest, not detail, but suggest some solutions or methods to achieve a solution which fixes that pain point.
He said to my face on my first call, my questions were surface. What did you find interesting? His ones actually dug interesting information. If I asked the questions I'm about to give you, I'd have hit his real pain point in 2 minutes instead of stumbling on it for the past 20-30 minutes. These are questions that get people to expand early once they've surfaced out. These questions let you flesh out all the information without getting any sales resistance. It's a win-win. So I'm going to start listing a couple of questions that are really effective. Number 1, can you tell me more about that? So I would use it the second they mention a problem in just simple one line. Number 2, can you walk me through your decision-making process? I would use this mid-call to find who actually signs off without the robotic, are you the decision maker? Because you're probably just going to get a yes. And that's probably not true. Number 3, can you give me a specific example so I understand that better? When they speak in simple terms that's not as clear, this forces them off vague language into real painful moments that they are reliving right now. Then the next one, can you go over what you would look for in a company to work with? I would use this normally before your pitch. It surfaces that buyer criteria so you can mirror it back through your own product. Then, can you describe what you meant by that? This is an example. With Sanjay, I'm feeling stress because of my admin work. And what you can dig out of this is, what do you mean by stress, Brian? What does stress mean to you? See, with every single question, you're getting more and more information. Now the next big question. What do you mean by that exactly? When they drop off a vague loaded phrase, it makes them define their own pain in concrete terms. And by concrete, I'm talking about numbers. How much time they're spending, how much money they're spending, how much attention is required per day. In minutes, hours. Very clear. Number 2, when you say that, what do you mean? You mirror an emotional word straight back at them. It gets them to unpack the feeling. When you say stress, what do you mean? When you say painful, what do you mean? When you say it's difficult, what do you mean? See, it just gets them to expand on it. Then, number 3, when you say that, what's causing it to happen? This pushes it to the root cause. This is the one that takes you from the actual symptoms itself to the actual problem that's causing it, that you get paid to solve. So you're redirecting the sales call from a symptom to the direct center of the problem. And that's what I really like this question. So these are the questions that are really effective on the sales call. For more on, I would recommend you to watch a Jeremy Miner video. I'll send the link in the description. So, by getting them to feel the pain is only 50% of it. The other half is the part I completely fumbled on my own call. And I did not put an actual number on any products. Outcome, pain, results, none of that. So this is segment 4. Quantify the pain.
And how much time do you spend? 30 minutes, did you say that?
Yeah, so once I generate a meeting, it'll be an hour for the meeting.
Okay.
I will then probably have another hour finding out who in the team would be the right person to do the work. And I'll call them and share some stuff. I then spend probably an hour in total converting the meeting notes into a nice, good-looking proposal, which is an email. And then once the client is happy with that, I'll be able then to schedule, which is maybe half an hour, 2 or 3 meetings with advisors in my case, or fractional marketing experts, to meet this guy in this case in the next week. I'll find out when their open slots are and take it from there.
Okay. Wait, so you spend 1 hour trying to find the right person, the right salesperson to forward this thing to?
Not the salesperson, the right delivery person.
Delivery person. Oh, so you assign it. Okay. I mean, to me, it seems like this is not really a problem. So yeah, you can.
Here was the biggest thing I got wrong. I got Brian talking about his pain, and then I just moved on. I mentioned it, but I never put an actual concrete number on it. And the pain you don't measure is the pain they tend to forget. So let me show you how you exactly expand it. And the method, absolutely never leave the pain as one vague thing. Break it into 3 categories: money, time, and attention. Every single time. Because money is the one you can prove. And the rest are the same because they're concrete. The same problem measured on these 3 different fonts is impossible to ignore. Because this is actual visible proof. So, for example, let's say I'm going to mention a cold emailing system. Brian, you're losing X amounts by manual code out. You're losing time by manual code out. Code out is the bad example. A good example for selling cold outreach systems to businesses would be, through cold outreach, you would be contacting on average 450 inboxes a day, 9,000 a month, and with our current campaign leading to 10% reply rate, and your sales pitch closing have a close rate of 70%, you get to make 8% more. Moreover, this will save X amount, like for example 10 hours of you wasting time on manual cold outreach. That's what this cold outreach system does. Do you see the difference? I'm fleshing out the problems in different aspects. I am displaying the math so it's clear to the client. Money, it costs 8 grand. It puts 100 grand of pipeline in front of you, and it kills the admin role you're paying to do this by hand. The next, number 2, time. Doing it manually eats 10 hours a week. This does it in 30 minutes, maybe 10. Attention. That's the 10 hours a week your team gets back, and an admin hire you never make. You focus on closing, not grunt work. Do you see how I've clearly fleshed out the problem? Look at that. 8 grand against 100. 10 hours against 10 minutes. 1 admin hire against 0. The pain is not a feeling anymore. It is a clear spreadsheet. This is what I regret. I didn't do this actually. And here's a clip of me.
Another hour finding out who in the team would be the right person to do the work. And I'll call them and share some stuff. And then spend probably an hour in total converting the meeting notes into a nice, good-looking proposal, which is an email.
And if there was one thing that I would do, it is breaking down the problem that has the highest conversion rate. And as you can see, Brian just handed me 3.5 hours of costs on every single deal, and I just let it sit there. I never said it back as a number. I never said that's a full week of your month. That's thousands a year of your own time, and this is wasted opportunity. I felt the pain and forgot to measure it. Full stop. Just don't do that. Expand it in 3 aspects: money, time, attention. Once the pain is 3 real numbers, your price is just a small slice of one of them. The only thing left to handle is whether they trust you to deliver. If through your product, if they save £100,000 and it costs, and make another £100,000, so £200,000 net, and it only cost £8,000, that's a no-brainer. You're making 8,000 into 200,000. That is the type of deal that I am trying to get you to convey to the client. You're trying to make it a no-brainer. You're trying to flesh out the actual genuine outcomes of your solution. Quick bonus. And honestly, this might be the most important thing in the whole video. Never speak in abstractions. When you talk about a client's pain, never and absolutely never use abstract words. Words like optimization and inefficiencies are sales poison. Just cut them. And here's exactly the why. Problem is, they are abstract. The client cannot picture them. So the client does not feel anything. There's no pain. Nobody has ever signed a deal over the sentence, you got some inefficiencies. It is just not clear. And here is my abstract pitch.
Trying to find the right person who can deliver the solution. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm assuming this person. So why don't you just make not just from me, but why don't you just make a board containing all your deliverable teams, assigning what they're best at, and you can just get an simple, very soft AI agent that can pluck this problem to this team. Wouldn't that take you 1 hour?
That would be interesting if I knew of the delivery team for one of the businesses I get involved with. The fact is I don't, so I need to qualify the potential delivery person based on the likely requirements from the client prospect, and that needs a human intervention, and that's what I do. Good idea when you get to scale, good idea when you get to an established team. I don't have an established team, it's a disestablished team across different people at different parts of the country, who I don't always know, but I can quickly identify who the right people should be.
And that's why my first proposal did not land. As you can see, it was a clean idea, a tidy concept, but he did not feel anything. It didn't touch his real concrete world. The contrast is everything. There is room to optimize your outreach, floats right past. But instead, if you use a real, genuine statistics, you're burning 10 hours a week and 8 grand a month. So, rule of thumb. Concrete sells, abstract gets ignored. If a sentence doesn't have a number or a picture in it, it's not doing any work. So there you go. That is the full system. Now, let me show you exactly what and where it got me in this clip.
Outreach based solution, because I think that's something we can talk about for sure.
Perfect. I'll send it to you. You're the first person I will show it to you. Thank you so much.
I completely pitched the wrong product, completely wrong. And by the end, he is the one chasing me, a 14k follower consultant, asking me to bring him my next build. That is what we call an engaged lead, and that's the whole game. I walked in with the wrong product. I walked out with a pro. That's how a 15-year-old pitched the complete wrong product and still walked out with a yes. Not confidence, but a simple system. And here's a quick recap of what we covered. All the 4 steps / frameworks that work on genuine discovery calls. Number 1, listen, repeat, poke. Shut up and listen. Say you back in their words, ask one question, that's it. They trust you before you've done anything else. Second frame, do 2 mini frameworks, prep and para. Prep is to make a point, para is to prove something works. Outcomes, not features. Number 3, probing questions. All selling is change. Get them below the surface. They feel their own pain, quantify their pains in 3 layers. Money, time, attention. Now the price is just a fraction of a number that they already agreed to. Now here's the thing. Doing all of this live on a call when you're nervous is a lot. Finding the real problem, quantifying it, getting it into clear forms. So, I built something that does exactly that. It's a client onboarding slideshow generator. You feed it everything from the call, transcripts, website links, and it turns the mess into a clean sales deck that pinpoints the client's pain. The same way I just walked you through it. I'm giving it to the first 5 people who want it completely for free because I want your feedback on it. If that's useful, just comment below and I'll get it to you. And look, if I could do this on my first call at 15, you can do it on yours. If you want stuff that's even more valuable than this, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.